What's up, my girlies? Welcome back to another video. It is your girl T. If you are new here, you're just clicking onto this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are a girly, you already know the vibes. Welcome back to another makeup video. So today we are going to be going over concealer. We're going to be talking about what concealer is, what it does, where to go, how to apply it, what to do after it's on, how to blend, all of that good stuff. I'm gonna help walk you through step by step what to do. So if you are a beginner makeup girly and you are interested in learning how to properly place your concealer and how to apply it, then keep on watching. This video is for you. First thing first, what is concealer? So concealer is makeup. Basically, it is a thicker consistency of foundation. So we all know that foundation is what we use to cover the face. It is what gives us our coverage, and we can usually decide on the amount of coverage we want because they're usually buildable. So concealer is the same thing. It just already typically starts with a more thicker, advanced formula. The point of concealer is to basically conceal and cancel out any blemishes that you may have, any problem areas, any black spots, dark spots, and for under the eye. So with me, typically, I like to go in with a concealer that is about 1 to 2 shades lighter. And for me, honestly, I'm gonna go with the 2 shades just because I like a really bright under eye. I don't typically have to spot correct, so I use my concealer solely for the purpose of concealing the darkness under my eyes. I went ahead and I already applied my foundation and I already did my eyebrows. I also did a little bit of my eyeshadow that I'm going to use for the look today. Of course, you know, it's just going to be a natural beat because I literally just want you to focus on the concealer and the concealer only. I'm going to do a visual for my girls who learn visually, and then I am also going to explain what to do for my girls who need the audio part of it. Okay, so all in all, you're gonna get what you need. So I think the flow of this video is I'm going to first tell you everything about concealer, and then we're gonna apply it, and then at the end I'll continue to do the full makeup face, and I'll come back and show you guys the makeup. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna speed it up a little bit because I want this video to be short. So let's speed it up. I'm gonna add some music over it, and then for my visual girlies, you'll be able to watch that. And for the girlies who need a step-by-step thorough audio, we're gonna go ahead and do this live right now. There are typically 3 types of concealers. My favorite is the liquid. I'm always gonna go in with a liquid concealer just because I love the coverage on it. But you also have cream and you also have the stick concealer. So whichever works for you, you'll find your match. And sometimes you just have to play in all the different types to really figure out what is your match. My favorite, again, is going to be the liquid. And today I'm gonna be swatching 3 different concealers. These are my everyday concealers. These are tried and true. I use these all the time. I currently use these. You've probably seen these in other videos. So just know I am speaking facts when I talk about these concealers. And I'm going to swap them and I'm going to let you see the tones. And I'm going to let you see the creaminess, the consistency, all of that. So first, we're going to be starting off with the Shape Tape by Tarte. This is one of the first concealers I've ever fell in love with. I still love her. She works just like a gem. This concealer, the consistency is pretty creamy, pretty thick on this concealer. And I'm just going to swap it on my hand just so that you can see. Next up, I have the One Size Turn Up the Base. And this is a butter silk concealer, so this one is going to be more silky. This is actually the most loose concealer that I have as far as consistency. It's not as thick and not as creamy. It still has very full coverage. So I just swapped that one on there. This is the One Size, this is the Shape Tape, this is the One Size. You can already see with the swap which one has more coverage, okay? Last but not least, we're gonna go in with the Hourglass. This is my new baby. I fell in love with her. This is in the shade Dune Vanish, and I'm going to be using this one today to show y'all, but first, let's swap. Okay, so here up top we have the Shape Tape. This is the Shape Tape Tarte. We have the One Size Beauty, and we have the Hourglass. As you can see, my shade range is always around the same type of shade. We're gonna go in with this last one right here, which is Hourglass. This is my most loose consistency, and I feel like the one that gives me the most coverage, I'm not going to lie, is the One Size. This one is just a lot looser, like I said, with the consistency, but it dries down pretty thick. Moving right along, now that we decided what foundation we want to go with, I'm going to go with the Hourglass. I'm going to go ahead and apply this to my face right now. Honestly, this is how I do it. You can apply as little or as much as you want to. I like a lot because, as you can see, I have very deep, dark circles underneath my eye. At this point, my foundation is already on, so it has a lot of that covered, but you can still see there's no lightness, there's no definition, so we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. What I like to do is just go ahead and put that right underneath my eye. Like I said, I'm pretty generous. I like to bring my concealer up just a little bit, just because I'm going to be lifting my face, so I like to already bring it up. We're also going to apply concealer to the nose, just like that. We're also going to be applying concealer to our forehead area, just like that, above our lip, just like that, and on our chin, just like that. Some girls like more coverage. You can bring it lower, but for me, we're gonna leave it right here. I'm gonna show you how they dry down real quick. So the Tarte, the One Size, and the Hourglass, they all pretty much dry down. I don't know how well you can see that. Concealer can help even out your skin tone. It can help hide those dark areas. It can also help to brighten and conceal those areas so that you don't have to be ashamed of them. You can highlight them and you can do your face and go outside as normal, and you can feel as confident and as beautiful as you like. So now that we're drying this down, drying your concealer down is not necessarily. However, I will say this. I will say that letting your concealer sit for a minute or two will give you more flexibility with coverage and how it is applied, okay? So it is not necessary. You can still achieve a bomb look without letting it sit, because I have done that. But letting it sit just boosts that look, and it just helps it to look more professional. Letting it sit can help you really achieve that airbrush finish, and nowadays that's what the girls want, okay? So now that we've let our concealer sit a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and blend this in. I'm going to go in with these two brushes to blend in my concealer. I'm going to go in with the Morphe M133. This is a conceal brush, as it says on it. This is going to help me get into those smaller, more defined areas. And then I'm going to go in with the Morphe M204 Cream and Liquid Blush Brush. I just really like the flexibility of this brush. I just love this brush, so I like applying both my concealer and contour with this brush. Now, to my beauty blending girlies. A-okay. Just make sure that if you use a beauty blender, you have that beauty blender damp. And I do want to put this disclaimer out there. If you are a girly like me who has really dark circles and you really want to do your best to get that coverage, I would recommend using a brush, just because If you use a beauty blender, it is going to pick up a lot of that makeup. A lot of that makeup's not even going to stay on your face. It's going to be on that beauty blender because the job of a sponge is to soak up, okay? So let that sink in a bit. If you do want a more sheer look, apply less concealer and use a beauty blender. Hope that tips help, but let's just go ahead and blend this in. So after you let your concealer sit a little bit, you want to go back, you want to go in with any setting spray that you have. Get it a little bit more moist again before you go ahead and blend that in. So you can either start from the outside or the in. I like to start inside. I don't know why, I just do, but yeah. Okay, now that I went in with the small brush to my liking and I got those little smaller areas, I'm going to go in with the next brush and I'm going to do the same thing. And basically what I'm doing is just patting the concealer in. We are just patting that into our skin. We are not swiping. We are patting. What I like to do is blend my concealer out in the direction of where I want it to go. And typically, since I like to lift my face, I like to blend my concealer upward, starting from the inside, working my way to the outside. So again, we are just going in with light taps, just like that. Same with the next eye. We're gonna start from the inside and we're gonna make our way out and we're just going to pat. And I will say, if you are a beginner and you have a hard time with blending, I will strongly recommend that you let that concealer sit, because did you see how easy that was? It didn't move around, it didn't slide, it didn't grip, it didn't nothing, okay? It just stayed in place from where I put it. So if you stick to the plan and you place it exactly where you want to place it and you let it dry, you technically don't have to do nothing but just make it look seamless. Like, the work is already done, you're just blending it, okay? And it will save you a bunch of time and blending if you let it sit. Okay, y'all, so now that we have our concealer blended into the way that we like, the next most important step is to make sure that we set this concealer in place. So we're gonna continue to add some brightness and some more coverage to this concealer by adding a setting powder, brightening powder, whatever you wanna call it. So in this case, I'm going to be going in with the One Size Beauty setting powder in the shade Sweet Honey. This is a translucent powder that I'm going to be adding under the eye. You don't have to bake. I am not going to bake. And the way that you're going to make sure that this goes on seamlessly is you're first going to make sure you are choosing the right thing to blend that powder in. Me, I personally use a beauty sponge, a beauty blender, because I like the little triangle, I like the control that I have, I like how it gets in and out, and I like the amount of product that it holds. If not, I also typically go in with a brush, okay? So this is the only type of beauty blender I use. 9 times out of 10, everything that I do is with a brush. Again, if you want to go in with a beauty blender, go ahead and go in after you blend. Now would be the time to dip that beauty blender. Do not damp it anymore. Now would be the time to go ahead and do that, okay? So in my case, I'm going to be using my beauty blender. And the most important tip before applying this powder is to make sure that there is no creases in your concealer whatsoever. Whatever crease you have is going to set once you add that powder. So it is extremely important that you go ahead and take care of that underneath the eye. For me, my under eye always creases, okay? So you're gonna wanna hold your eyes up and make sure you really get in there, okay? Just like this. Okay, just like so. There is no creasing, absolutely no creasing under my eye. Next, you want to go ahead and take your beauty blender and dip it in the powder. I like to make sure I have a really good amount on that beauty blender, and then I'm going to go ahead and dab it on my hand. You see how beautiful this looks, how it's just all there. It's not spotty or anything like that. That is extremely important because that's going to be the way that it applies underneath your eye. And now we're going to apply it. I normally start from the inside out. What I'm doing is just lightly pressing that powder in, just very lightly, and I am tapping it. I'm doing quick, short tapping motions because we are just sweeping by. We're dusting this eye, okay? We are dusting, and again, I'm bringing it up. Wherever I put my concealer is where I'm going to be putting this powder. Same thing with the other eye. Once you're comfortable with the amount of powder that you have under your eye, and trust me, you really don't need a lot, you're gonna then go ahead and put powder in the rest of the spots that you put concealer, which if you remember, it was our chin, our forehead, the bridge of our nose. I like to just go ahead and add some around my smile lines. Look at that. I don't know if you could tell, but I already like that powder. One Size setting powder is one of my favorite powders, okay? Like the Ultra Pink is absolutely my favorite. So now, if you want to take it up a notch, we're gonna add even more powder, okay? But this time we're gonna add a pressed powder. So we went in with the loose powder. Now we're gonna go in with a pressed powder, and this is absolutely one of my favorite finishing powders. It is the Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation in the shade NC41. This shade is about one shade lighter than the powder that I have, and about one more shade lighter than the actual concealer that I use. This part is not necessary. You can skip this part. I like a super bright under eye, so I'm gonna go in with this. And even if you don't like your under eye to be super bright, you can get a finishing powder in the same shade as your concealer just to make it have that airbrush finish. And for those of you who don't know, the key to making your makeup stick, stay the wear you want, that airbrush makeup pro like, it's a powder. You can't have makeup without powder. So we're gonna go in right now and continue to set this under eye and continue to brighten it. And I love this because you have no camera flashback. So we're gonna go in, and I'm just going to put a light amount on my brush. And this is a Real Technique brush. I don't know, ain't nothing left on it to tell you which one it is, but if you know, you know, these brushes are great. And I'm just gonna go, and when I typically go in with the lighter shade, I like to typically just stick to the inner corner, and then whatever's left on a brush, I just bring it out. And we're doing the same with the other eye. I normally like to take whatever's left on a brush and just go ahead and put it in those same areas that we put the loose powder. All right, we looking a little dry, right? Because we got a lot of powder on. So what I'm gonna do is set this face with some more setting spray. You can use any setting spray. This is the All Nighter Urban Decay, my favorite setting spray. Spray this, I'm gonna go right back in with that same pressed powder. But first, let's set. Okay, so what do we think? I'm liking the coverage of the under eye, like dark circles where? So now, like I said, I'm just gonna go in one more time with this powder. So the reason why we're going in one more time with this brightening powder is because when you set your face, sometimes you just lose a little bit of it. So just to add that brightness back in there, it's gonna go in one more time. about concealer placement, how to apply it, that is literally what I do. It's literally 3 steps, okay? So we're gonna go over it one quick time. So we are going to conceal 1 to 2 shades lighter than your foundation. Then you are going to blend. You're going to blend your concealer in with whatever brush you like or whatever beauty blender you like. After you blend, you're going to set. You're going to set with a loose powder and a pressed powder. So in order to get that good concealer coverage look, you need these 3 items: concealer, loose setting powder, and pressed setting powder, okay? So that is all that you need to know with placement. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comment box below. From this point of the video, I am just going to finish up my makeup. I'm going to add some music over that. So if that is something that you're interested in watching, just go ahead and keep on watching. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm gonna come back in and show you guys the finished look. So don't go nowhere just yet. I'll be right back. Okay, here we are with the final makeup look. Y'all, this under eye is so bomb. It's so secure. Oh my God, I look too good. I'm so happy with the coverage. Again, you guys, I hope that you learned everything that you need to know about concealer. If you do have any more questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. I cannot stress this enough. If it's anything that you want me to do, any eyeshadow, anything, if there's any questions, please make sure to reach out to me. I'm so happy to answer any questions that you may have. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you ladies on next week's video. I love you ladies, and bye.